Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Aspire to Inspire, where we interview industry professionals. Today's guest is nonetheless working actress and assistant director Bianca Grava. Some of her film credits and television credits include appearing on Magic Camp, Gamer's Guide to Pretty Much Everything, Game Shakers, and so much more. We are so excited to interview Bianca today. I'm just going to bring her onto our virtual stage, and there she is. Hi, Bianca. Oh my goodness, you're muted. Hold on.
Oh,
there you go.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm all right.
You're all right?
I have a fan on, but I'm sweaty. How are you?
I'm great. I'm just so grateful to have you here. Nonetheless, that you wanted to be a part of this and just share your journey with viewers who will be watching this. And, we're just going to talk about you, how you got started as a working actress, where, you desire to see yourself in the entertainment industry down the line. And we can just start right off the bat. You ready?
Yeah.
Awesome. So Bianca, I like to, this first question is just very straight to the point. Just feel free to tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, your passion, let us get a glimpse of who you are and what you're about.
For sure. Okay, my name is Bianca. I'm 19 years old, and I've been working as an actress since I was 11 years old, and I'm also a filmmaker and a writer and a college student.
Balancing it all. And I love that you mentioned that you also write and you're a filmmaker as well. In this business, so to say, it's so important to have your hand involved in almost everything. It may seem intimidating to a lot of people because it's whoa, you do all that, but it's, if you're passionate about it, you really love to do it. It's not really considered much of a hassle. So I'm impressed thus far. And Bianca, you said you started when you were 11, correct?
Yes.
So honestly, where did that passion really begin? You said you started at 11, was there a particular moment that you were yeah, I definitely want to pursue this career path, and you still are to this day, but could you talk a little bit about that?
Not acting, no, never thought of it, honestly. It just kind of happened. I wanted to be a director when I was 7 years old, and I still do. That's still my main goal. Acting is something that just kind of happened along the way, and I'm really thankful for it because it's allowed me to grow up in the industry and already be in the world that I wanted to be in when I grew up. So it was kind of like learning through experience and observation. But yeah, I always wanted to be a director. I did community musical theater when I was a kid for 7 years, from kindergarten to 6th grade. And around 4th grade, I met an acting coach at this community theater who sort of scouted me and recruited me, introduced me to a manager, and I started working.
Yeah. And it's so crazy how we can reflect on where it all started and just kind of see wow, all that really kind of got me to where I am today.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you sharing that.
Oh, sorry, continue.
No, please, no. I'm just saying I'm grateful for you sharing that because, a lot of people don't know where to start or let alone how to get to that big screen because, a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about how you get from here to here. So you talking about you starting community theater, I think that's a great way for people to get the knowledge of acting and just be surrounded by people who do it as well. But please continue what you were about to say.
I mean, back then it was just me having fun, just being a kid.
Right.
My best friend's parents owned the company, so she kind of dragged me into it. But I never thought of acting on my own. And when I started acting, it was I'm good at this. I enjoy this. I can do this. Why not? As long as my parents were willing to support me,
right.
which they were very hesitant. They were very hesitant because the industry is a scary place for kids a lot of the time.
That's true.
But they've been really great. They've been super supportive. And especially being a child of immigrant parents who come from a third world country, the Philippines, it's very much a thing of making sure that I have the opportunities that they didn't have.
Right.
Because even if my parents were interested in the arts, it wasn't something that was feasible for them where they came from. So since it's something that was possible for me, they wanted to make sure that I had everything I needed to be able to go for it.
Right. And you talked heavily about that support system and why it's so essential, especially in this business, because it's kind of like scam after scam after scam. And you got to make sure you have not only just a support system, but on top of that, you have a family who was able to see how much you wanted this, was able to support you through it. And you kind of got to reap the benefits with them having, you by your side and all of you guys together, making it work and supporting you throughout that way. So guys, make sure you have a support system with this, because this can get a bit tricky, especially in this entertainment industry. But I really appreciate you being so open about, where you come from and how your family didn't believe in the dream at first. But look at you now. You're diving into directing. You're an assistant director, and that's just the beginning. Like, that's like the tip of the iceberg for all the things that you will and continue to do.
I wouldn't say that they didn't believe in me. I know that they did. They always have been very confident in my abilities and my talents. I think it was just more being afraid of how unstable the arts can be, especially filmmaking as a career. But they said, you have 1 year to try this whole acting thing. And if it doesn't work out, we're stopping. And then I booked my first audition. Wow. So I was like, aha, I got you.
Right. You were able to, do that. And I mean, could you talk about what that first audition was like for you, trying, getting that for the first time and being like, hey, this is like my shot for what I've wanted to do? And, could you talk a little bit about that?
Oh gosh, it was weird. I mean, I had an acting coach who prepared me for it, of course. Was like, all right, you're gonna sign in at the lobby, and they're gonna call your name, and you're gonna smile, you're gonna say your name. It's so weird, because like it was for an American Girl doll commercial.
Oh.
And so they had like me and 2 other little girls like standing in a room in front of a big light.
Right.
And there's adults sitting at a table with a camera, and they're like, okay, now giggle. Acting is weird, bro. It's a weird thing to do.
No, it is. It is.
Yeah, but it's so fun. It's so fun.
Oh, I love that for you to be able to experience that. And y'all, it is a bit weird what they ask you to do, let alone for commercials, to just giggle on the spot. It's kind of just like, okay, I'm giving you what you want. This is all you want. And then you get booked for it, and you're just like, oh, well, that's great.
Yeah.
And you just move on to like the next. But I think, where I'm going with this question is just that a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about the job of an actor and, in a sense, what you do. So in your personal opinion, Bianca, what do you believe is one of the biggest misconceptions of the job of an actor? I mean, there's tons, but if there's one that just sticks out to you the most, what is it?
The glamour.
True.
People, whenever I would, start up a conversation with somebody and they're like, oh, what do you do? I say, I'm an actor. And they go, ooh la la, that's so fancy. Right. Or they're like, oh, you must be so rich. Quite au contraire. No. Acting it's tough because you deal with a lot of rejection. It's something you have to get used to. It takes a lot of mental and emotional fortitude to be trying to do something that's a passion that comes from your heart, and it's being molded into business. Because really, at the end of the day, what it is, it's an industry, it's a business, and you have to deal with rejection and just move on and go to the next thing and keep your chin up.
Right.
And jobs aren't always easy to come by, especially when you're working in an industry that's predominantly run by white people who don't really write roles for you. So that's another one of my main goals, is to become a person who works behind the camera and create that representation.
Right.
Nothing about us without us, and telling those stories in a way that is accurate to us and allows us to be able to shine with all the diversity.
Yeah.
I kind of went off track there, but
no. And this is what I absolutely love about actors and artists, because we're at the pit of it all. We're creative. So we're so passionate about what we do. And when it comes to representation, like, please do ramble like that. I don't even want to call it rambling. You were just passionately speaking from your point of view, which this platform is all about. We want to hear how, this is a predominantly white entertainment industry. And when, you see a person of color, or you want to see more representation, it's kind of like a small win that could gradually get bigger and bigger down the line. But for us to see it now and to demand for it now, it's kind of like opening those doors for, people of color, people who aren't white, so to say. So I really, girl, please talk about it. Please do. Honestly, it's a much needed
time I felt truly represented on screen was when I literally saw myself on screen, like me, this person.
Mm.
When I did Magic Camp, I remember before the movie came out on Disney Plus, Walt Disney Studios invited us to have our own screening, like just the cast and the directors and producers, so we could watch the movie first. And I remember when I came on screen, I was like, "Oh my goodness, that's a Filipino girl in a Disney movie. That's crazy, and it's me." And it was wild. You don't really think of those things when you're not used to seeing it.
Exactly.
I became accustomed as a kid to picking my favorite TV and movie characters based on innate qualities, like Hermione and Harry Potter. Her intelligence, I
Mhm.
associate
Right.
myself with her. She was kind of dorky. I felt like she was me, but there was never a time where I could look at a character and be like, "Oh my gosh, that literally is my life.
Mhm.
That's what I look like. That's what my family looks like."
Right.
Closest thing I had was like Mulan, and I'm not that Chinese, I don't think.
Right.
It was just like the only Asian representation there really was. And
Mm.
I mean, name 3 Filipino actors off the top of your head. You can't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. Yeah. And I just love talking about this because it's just highlighting the fact that it's an immediate problem. I don't like to say a problem, but it's a conflict that we see. And
Mhm.
we're accepting the fact like, okay, yeah, we need more representation. And for you to I don't know. I like to think that things work out in certain ways, like that moment for you of seeing yourself on television and seeing like, wow, like that's a Filipino young girl. Like that's me at the end of the day. It's like I'm going down this road path and imagine all the other people you can bring along with you or who can see you on screen and just be like, oh, look, mom, dad, or sister, cousin, like there's someone that looks like me. I want to do the same thing that she's doing. And
Yeah.
little do you know, you're being an inspiration for young girls and young boys, or even just all types of people can see you and be like, yeah, that's me. And I think that's just an amazing thing as an artist to
When I tell you the
experience.
amount of messages I got on Instagram when it came
Nice.
out, just flooding in from the Philippines. So many people being like, "A Filipino girl in a Disney movie," and I'm like, "I
Nice.
know. It's weird, right?"
Yeah,
Like,
I know, but it's only the beginning. It may seem weird now, but it's just the beginning for so much more. And for you to want to get into directing, you're going to create those opportunities for so many other individuals, so your story can be
you
told.
bet, you
So,
bet.
I
Yes.
love this. I love this. We're off to a great start during this interview. I love this so far. But you talked about your work on Magic Camp, and you have a list of other credits as well. As an actor channeling into a character, so to say, what is your process for auditioning? You get that self-tape, so to say, and you get the breakdown
Mhm.
and you read what the character is about. What's your process of getting into that headspace of the character?
Well, first I'd say read everything they give you. If they give you if it's like for a TV show and they give you the script for the entire episode,
Mhm.
read that episode. Read your character breakdown, read the
Wow.
plot line. If it's for a movie, read the whole movie.
Yeah, right.
Do your homework and be prepared. One of the most important things is having a strong work ethic.
Yeah.
Because as much fun as it is, like this is your job. This is something you are committing yourself to, and you want to walk in and be prepared for anything they ask you to do.
Mhm.
Because they might ask you to do something that's not on the paper,
Yeah.
but you still want to be in that character. So if you really try and understand this person whose shoes you're stepping into and really learn about all their faults and their wants and their needs and their life, even if you have to make it up. It really helps to be a creative person because if you can build that world around you and
Mhm.
make it real, you can live in it and you can walk into that audition room and bring that world with you.
Right, right. And I think of the saying, like, you never really know a person until you walk into their shoes. But I think as actors, we get to create those shoes. Like, we
Yeah.
get to literally use imagination. Like, a lot of people, it's just so crazy the path of an actor. Like, we really just get paid to imagine or to play real life, you know? So it's cool to be able to hear from other actors about their process, because everyone is different. Everyone is so, so, so different. And it just shows that there is many different ways people can bring characters to life. And I think that's just so beautiful to hear everyone's opinion. I ask my guests this question all the time, and it's so different for each person because everyone is so different. So it's unique to hear about your standpoint and how, I don't know, from you, I get a vibe like you're very go with the flow, whatever comes. And I think that's just, that's so important, especially in this like industry, to go with the flow and to not feel so like, oh, I got to do it this way perfectly. Like, no, like just be in the moment. You'll be shocked at what happens if you just let go and just take it in all at once.
If you get too in your head, they can tell.
Right.
They can see it in your eyes. Everything that's happening up here is coming out through your eyes when you're reading that scene with those casting directors. They can read you like a book. They can see right through you. So you really, when I say you have to create that world, it's not only around you, but it's in your mind. Everything you think is going to come out through. And it's also not about, I think a lot of people will come into acting believing that it's learning 72 different facial expressions and then executing them, according to what they think the line calls for. But it's really not. It's like you were saying, it's just living as that person.
Yeah. And I think that's such great advice for people who are going to be watching this, is that when you're in your head too much, try to get out of it the best way you can, because your head is the scariest place you can be, especially walking into an audition room. I think with the self-tape world we're in now, we kind of have an advantage because we can do as many times as we want and pick out the perfect one that we think it's best.
And a curse as a perfectionist.
Exactly.
it gets rough, but yeah, I do think there are upsides and downsides to it. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, with the world we're living in, it's kind of just, it's a blessing and a curse. And I love how you said that, because I'm the same way. I'm a huge perfectionist. I will literally do a scene over and over and still say it's not good enough. It's just who I am, and at the end of the day, but still getting that submission in and being like, that wasn't my best, but let's see what happens. But I think it's just, I think it's so crazy how we went from a world of in-person auditions and now we're in the self-tape world, and it looks like we're here to stay for quite some time. Like, I don't see in-person auditions coming. I mean, maybe for commercials here or there, but it's
Girl, I mean, are you getting any? Because I'm not getting any. I don't know. I keep asking all my actor friends. I'm like, are you going in person anymore?
Right. And it's so, I don't want to say scary, but it's kind of like where we are right now. And it's just like, well, I miss that in-person chemistry connection.
Yeah, you get that one shot.
Yeah, that one shot you get to have.
To do it again a different way, you have to come in expecting to get that one shot. And something about that adrenaline.
That's so true. It's something else. And I swear it's like a high that you can't get from like any other type of thing. That physically being there, being in the moment, like I think that's essentially what it feels like to let go, that adrenaline. Like, all right, I'm here. I'm going to do what I have to do. That adrenaline is up. It can be for you or against you, but it's a good thing. And I honestly, I miss that feeling. Oh, so much.
I feel you on that.
I miss that so much. But transitioning from self-tape world, in-person world, and just carrying back to all the work that you've done as a working actress, I'm sure you've learned so much from your years of being an actress in the industry. And this is kind of your moment where you could, take back and think, was there a moment in your career, so to say, where you wish you could have done something differently, or wish you would have known before? Like, if I didn't do this, maybe, a better outcome will come. This is just in a sense for viewers out there so that they can know, what's something that you've learned that you wish you could have, learned right then and there, but you're able to help someone. Tell us a little bit about that.
All right, this is going to sound a little silly, but answer your emails. Answer those damn emails as soon as you can. Answer them. Get back to people. I've always been a good communicator. That
Okay.
wasn't a problem for me until for some reason at this one point, I think I got a little lazy.
Mm,
And I missed out on an opportunity that was really great because I didn't answer an email soon enough.
mm.
It's that
Yeah,
simple. It's that simple.
that's so crazy. But I mean, I wouldn't say don't be too hard on yourself because of that. Like we all get to the point where I guess we're lazy or we don't communicate so very much. But I think that's such great advice because we just lay back too much and we're just here and we're just going through the motions and we just forget that one little email that was sent to us earlier this morning, and then next thing you know it's like the weekend and you're just like, "Ooh, I missed that." But I think that's I I just think it was so funny that you said that. I was just like, I'm laughing, but that's a really good point. Like the just
Yeah.
the idea of like, oh shoot, like I didn't respond to that one, but I'm always the type of person who is like, if one door closes, another one will open,
Yes,
and
that's
like
another thing. That's
keep
another thing
pushing.
is moving on quickly.
Right,
Nobody taught me this. This was something that I just figured out and adopted to
right,
my process. But like even as a kid, when I started auditioning, I picked up this mentality of prepare for the audition, work hard, go in, do it, and the second you walk out of that audition room, forget about it. Move on to the
yes,
because I never have counted too much on any one audition. I
mm,
mean, you could get an email about a role that sounds like a dream role and you would love it so
right,
much, you just feel like you might be perfect for it. But casting is not always about who is the most talented.
right, right.
That's what it is. It's casting. It's who fits the role the best. So if it wasn't your role, it wasn't your role, but another one will be. So move on.
Exactly.
Move on, keep working hard, and it will find you.
Right. And it will find you. Thank you for saying that because we get so caught up on these characters and just like, oh, not like I want it so badly, but like right after audition room, we'll be like, do you think they like me? Like, do you
Mm,
think I like did a good job? And we get so caught up in our heads. And at the end of the day, you got to throw those sides away and just be
yes.
done with it. Just move on with your life because I had one too many times where I got so caught up in my head and I was just like, oh, I hope I did good. And I wasn't able to enjoy the rest of my day because I was so like
Mm,
pressed about what happened in a room for 10 minutes and left. That 10 minutes out of that audition session, like literally had me in a bad headspace for like the rest of the day.
feel
So
that. I feel
it
that.
kind of just like ties in about like our mental health and checking in on ourselves and being
Mhm.
able to toss it to the side and let it go and just move on with the rest of our days. Like
It's
mental health is such a
honestly a very
serious thing.
contradictory
Yeah,
thing to try and do because you're pouring your heart and soul to this character, right? And
right,
I'm not saying you should be detached, but at the same time, you have to remember that this isn't about you.
right.
It's about serving the role, the character, the project.
Mm,
And again, if it wasn't meant for you, it wasn't meant for you. And it's hard to be so emotional about it because you
right.
have to be, but at the same time, you remember that, yeah, no, same thing I said. It's not about you.
Yeah, no, it really isn't, and it's a crazy field that we're in where it's not about us. We're literally giving service to a character, a production team,
Mhm.
a short film, a feature film, or whatever we're in. We're literally giving ourselves to it to be of service. So it's kind of just like we can't be selfish and think it's all about us because where does that take you? It just continues making you feel as though like you're entitled to something, which isn't like the main objective of being an artist. No, we're giving. We continue to give in all that we do.
I
But
think that goes back to what you asked about what's a misconception that a lot of people have about actors,
mhm.
that it's vain.
Yeah, right.
It's like I'm the star, everything is about me, like the camera's on my face, the lights are on my face, but
Mhm.
no, it's not about that. It's about serving an art form.
Right. Oh, I can't agree more. And transitioning from that not being vain and this being an art, this entertainment industry or this industry in general is always
Mhm.
changing. Of course, we learned that through COVID and everything. But with where you are in your career, you being an actress and you want to get into directing and you're making those footsteps towards that, where do you envision yourself 5 to 10 years down the line? You know, the world is yours. You know, what is that dream that you have for yourself 5 to 10 years down the line?
Honestly, as long as I am being authentic, I don't really have any concrete points where I'm like, oh, by this age I should have made this
Right.
short films that I wrote and directed, or by this age I want to be a star, I want to have an Oscar. No, whatever. As long as I'm keeping the promise I made to myself when I was 7 years old, as long as I am still working to keep creativity alive, to keep my inner child alive in that way, as long as I am not doing a disservice to her,
Mm.
I'll be happy.
Yeah. Wow, that was very deep. I don't really have much to say to that because that's so authentic. No, like seriously, I think as actors, we look at one another and you know we both. I just swear that all fellow creatives, like we're in tune with our emotions. Like I was at a loss for words for what you were saying because we dream so big and we want to be at X, Y, and Z at this specific time, or we want to receive that Oscar or Emmy. But with you, it's kind of just like, you know, wherever life takes me, just always remind myself of why I started and keeping that inner child happy, you know,
Yes.
being able to still do this and being content that 7-year-old me would be proud of where I am now. So,
Yes. Oh
yeah.
my goodness, yes. You were saying something earlier about when we were talking about how I started when I was 11,
Mhm.
and for the longest time I would like walk up to people and be like, "Oh, I'm an actor. I just started though. It's very new." Like blah blah blah. And then one day I looked up and I was like, "I have a resume. I
Right,
have experience. I have
right.
things that I've learned. I'm always a student, but I'm no longer an amateur."
Yeah,
It's so mind-boggling to realize that I'm about to enter my 20s and I'm not new at this. I'm
right.
not new at this. I know what I want and I know what I'm working for, and
Mm,
I feel so grateful for that,
right.
to be able to know what I
Grateful.
want to do.
Yeah, grateful for that growth, being able to not only worry so much about what hasn't happened yet, but be able to reflect what happened from
Yes,
how you got to where you are. And that's
yes.
that alone. I don't care about talent. I mean, I ain't a casting director, but as a person, I don't care about talent or, you know, you got X, Y, and Z on your resume. If you're able to reflect and see that I've grown as
Yes,
an artist, like that's going to take you further in whatever career path you desire to take. You know, you know, it's just, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. If
yeah.
it renders people speechless, it's a wonderful thing that you have because a
I'd
lot of
say
people
I'd
have.
say don't live in the past,
Mhm.
don't forget it.
Right,
You have to
exactly.
honor it.
Yeah. Sheesh. We could end the interview right there. Like, I just love talking with people.
I
This is
I love
something.
talking to you. You're awesome. You're great at this.
Oh, thank you. But no,
Amazing.
we're not talking about me. No, we're talking about but yeah, it's just so beautiful to hear how authentic people are and why they do what they do because it always ties back to younger you or a pivotal moment in your life where you're just like, yeah, I just want to do what I love and that's that. Wherever it leads me, I'll go with the flow. And if I get these opportunities, thank God for those opportunities, but I'm just going to continue to do what I love. And that's definitely the vibe of gratitude and thankfulness that I get from you, Bianca. You're awesome.
Oh, thank you. You're
Yeah,
awesome too.
thank you. I honestly have one more question for you.
I'm
I've
gonna
enjoyed talking
close
to
my door
you.
really quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Do what you got to do.
I forgot that my family was coming home.
You're all good.
Okay. Okay. Okay, we're good. I'm back.
Okay, just
I'm
one
here.
question for you. You're all good. Don't worry. Don't worry. But I asked my guest this very last question, and it's basically what this platform is all about. You know, aspiring to inspire others in your journey. So, Bianca, how do you desire to use your very own platform to inspire others, people you come in contact with while you're on set? How do you desire to inspire other people?
Through vulnerability. I think I think that, like I said, just living authentically is one of the most important and valuable things that you can do. Putting yourself out there and just letting yourself be who you are without boundaries shows other people that they can do that too. And I feel like anything I do is gonna be pretty inspirational as an Asian girl. It's not that hard to put yourself out there, especially when you are a demographic that isn't so often represented. So just by doing the things I love and showing that there is this space for us and this is something that we are allowed to do, we're allowed to pursue this. I think that's cool. I think that's cool. Just express yourself. Keep expressing yourself and don't worry about coming off a certain way to people. Don't worry about embarrassing yourself because there's no point in feeling embarrassed for being who you are. And it's more fun to be yourself. It will always be more fun.
Yeah. I, girl, you need to go on a motivational tour for
You're not the first person to tell me that.
because your story is so authentic to you. And I don't know, I pick up on people's energy, and you're very passionate about what you do. And with that being said, you know, you have your own dreams and ambitions of what you want to do representation wise, and you know, wanting to be authentic to yourself and just giving that out to people. That's, yeah, I'm inspired, and I'm the host. I've heard people's stories all the time, but
You're
yours,
sweet.
yeah,
You're
yours
really
alone.
sweet.
Of course, anytime. But thank you so much, Bianca, for your time. Just stick around for a bit. I would love to chat with you afterwards. But for the sake of our viewers watching, this will be uploaded onto YouTube very, very soon. And when it does, please, guys, go follow Bianca. She is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for your time. And for viewers watching, stay tuned for our next upcoming episode coming very, very soon. Until then, goodbye.
Bye.